Hey guys, UX here, and welcome back to another episode of Boosters Exposed. This is number 5 in the series, and it's another Friday's episode, which means we're going to be going more in depth. I've only got one account for you today, but I'm sure that the notoriety of the account will hopefully make up for the lack of having a second account. If you guys, as always, don't want to watch the super long Friday in-depth video, you can go down in the description and you'll see a link to a summary of all the stats they boosted and showing all the numbers and the math basically. So you can go ahead and just go open that and then you can follow along, or you can just read it and then leave, or leave a comment or whatever. Anyways, I'm going to try and make this a little shorter. People have been complaining that they're too long, even though the poll I passed on my Discord showed that you guys want longer episodes. It's a little weird. I don't know. But yeah, so today's episode, if you haven't already seen from the tabs at the top, we've got TimeDeo, 400,000 sub YouTuber. Now, I know that you guys previously mentioned, especially after I showcased Giovanni, and I think it was episode 3, to not show like known boosters. However, I think that he's big enough people know him that the majority of people who know him don't know him as like a known booster. That said, a lot of you guys watching this video, if you're in my community, if you're anybody who knows about like boosting in general, you know that this guy's a known booster. He's legit boosted and win traded so much of his AP, and there's just so many wins, probably well over 1,000 wins by now. In fact, I know he's boosted at least like five, or I know he's win traded or semi legit boosted at least like 500 to 1,000 wins on his account, um, across the network, right? Just from the dual stuff that we did a long time ago. But today, I can show you guys I boosted at least like 400 of these kills. So in fact, we can show you that he boosted at least half of these kills. In his Smasher stats, of course, we're doing Smashers always. For those who don't know him, this guy's a Skyblock YouTuber. He's he was a Bedwars YouTuber, and then Skyblock came around, and then he, hopped on the wagon when it comes to getting views. And he started making bank. I mean, it blew up. He got millions of views. Man, I mean, he's doing good. But he's a known booster. And it would surprise me if he was also boosting on, what's it called? On Skyblock a long time ago when it first started and no one really knew that profile boosting was bad and all this. Um, Anyways, this guy is a known booster, but for everyone who doesn't know he's a known booster, I'm going to prove that he's a booster right now. So this are his Smasher stats. Of course, I'm on 25 Karma. For those who don't know, 25 Karma before website 25karma.xyz or 25karma.xyz/player/ and then the name, or you can just go to the website and type in a name. These are stats. I'm not going to focus on any of the accounts that have, or any of the characters, sorry, that have the too low sample size stats. We're basically only going to be talking about a Skullfire today, but I think it'll be evident why it's worth talking about a Skullfire. I should also mention it is almost 2 a.m. I'm super tired, so you're going to hear my voice that I'm super tired. I got to wake up in like 5 hours for school. I did like 12 hours or something stupid like that of school today. That's how it is sometimes. So I'm sorry if I sound a little more tired. But yeah, and you can see two stats. His kills popping off, So I think that, I mean, we know at the very least, just using basic statistics, that these are not mutually exclusive. Some of these kills have to be in his skull. In fact, we'll find out the majority of them are in his skull. So let's go take a look at that. This is his JSON. As always, I've also got this ready. I'm bringing this back. If you haven't seen the last episode where I showed the new technique using this stuff, then go ahead and check that out because it's super cool. And I guess if enough people want this, I might leak it one day. But for now, it's private, I guess. Here's his API, as always. You can verify it by comparing the Mongo object ID and all of this. There's also, whoa, we've got, why is this all open already? Let's go ahead and close this. I'm just taking a look at his stats to confirm they're boosted before bothering to make the video. We've got where's his UUID, man? UUID right here, UUID, there we go. You can compare all this stuff, compare all the numbers, okay? This is his thing. We're going to open up stats, Super Smash, which is code word for Smashers. Now let's go down the list. So we're going to be comparing 4 different categories across 3 stats today, okay? So in total, we've got 12 numbers to do math for, which might seem like a lot, but but bear with me. Not boost with me, sorry. There's 2 main things that I want to prove here. So the first thing that I want to prove is that he boosted his Skullfire using ults by playing 2v2v2. Now in the API, 2v2v2 is listed as underscore team, so just keep that in mind. And we're exclusively going to be looking at 2v2v2 stats for this video. And then the second thing I want to prove is that he boosted at least half of his overall account kills for Smashers. Okay, so at least half of this figure right here is boosted. Those are the two goals I have, so let's go ahead and do it. Now I'm just going to run down the list of some stats. So one thing that I'm primarily going to focus on here across every stat is I want to compare his overall stats to his Skullfire stats to his overall stats excluding Skullfire. So basically all, and then Skullfire only, and then everything that's not Skullfire. 3 different categories, okay? And at the end, we'll also add the expected stats for Skullfire to compare at the end. So first off, his overall, we're going to be looking at overall 2v2 void to damage kill ratio. So this is how often he gets void kills to how often he gets damage kills, okay? Now, if we look at, where is this? Skullfire, void to damage kill ratio, the expected amount is anywhere from 0 to like 1.5, 1.55. Now in 2v2, this is inherently probably going to be a little higher. And I mean, with his little sample size, we can reasonably see up to like 3, 4, maybe even 5. And 5 would be pushing it, but 3 or 4 would still be like not necessarily boosted, right? So we're going to go ahead and do the math here. So we're going to get his, where's his, Smashes is his damage kills here. And then his actual, or sorry, we want Smasher teams. Whoa, 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 what am I doing? Smasher teams. That's his damage kills in 2v2v2. And then we've got his overall kills in 2v2v2. So to get his void kills, you take this number and subtract this number. Okay, so that gives us 552 void kills to 102 damage kills. And as always, reminder, you can go down in the description, open up the link with the summary of the stats, and you can just follow along with me. And that's what I'm going to be referring to instead of constantly doing all the math on video because it makes the videos too long for no reason. Anyways, that gives him a void to damage kill ratio of about 5.41 overall. Now this is fairly, I mean, we were looking here at only for Skull, keep that in mind. Some other kits may vary. So for example, Shoop is going to have the highest number here. Shoop can go up to like 5 reasonably, okay? Shoop is the highest number. I know off the top of my head. If you look at one of probably the lower numbers, it's probably going to be like Karakot here. Yeah, 1.15, right? More damage-based kits are probably going to have lower. And then more knockback-based kits are probably going to have higher. That's just how that works. So like Spooderman is probably going to have higher just because of the spike procs. Yeah, a little higher because spike procs, stuff like that. Anyways, yeah, so that's just for Skull only. Right now we're looking at overall, and we'll look at Skull in a moment here. Now, if we look at Skull specifically, not that tab, sorry, class stats, Skull. So that's already a little high. That's actually quite high for overall, especially considering he mainly played Skull, so this is skewed towards Skull stats. But we know we're assuming here that he boosted his skull. So let's take a look at his skull. You know, if his skull boosted, it should be very clear when we check his skull. So now for skull, we're checking for the same number. So we're looking for Smasher and kills teams. So this is his 2v2v2 kills on skull, and then we look for Smasher, which is damage kills. Not that number, sorry, this number. That's 44. So if we do some quick substitution there, he ends up with 421 void kills to 44 damage kills. That's a ratio of 9.57. So 9.57, 9.5. 9.5 is very likely to be boosted. But that's just one number. Maybe that one number is a little, maybe we're just nitpicking. So let's compare. Now, if you haven't already figured this out, because his overall number is a lot lower than his Skullfire number, we expect his not Skullfire number to be lower. And if you do all the math for that, you end up with 131 void kills on combined void kills across every kit that's not Skullfire to 58 damage kills. That's a ratio of 2.26. 2.26 still high, but not necessarily boosted by any means. Okay. So we showed that his void to damage kill ratio is just absurdly high. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at his damage to kill ratio for 2v2, of course. So we're once again going to be looking at overall. So we're going to be looking at uh, damage kills. We're once again kills teams here compared to damage dealt right there. All right. And now if we compare this to our data, this is 30.5k or so to 654 kills. So this gives us a damage kill ratio of about 46.77. 46.77, if we go ahead and look at the data here, we're going to look at damage per kill ratio right here. 46 overall. This is, of course, Skull. So I'm going to show you guys a few kits here for Skull. 46 is really low. In fact, too low. If we look at a kit like Shoop once again, though, for Shoop it's going to be a lot lower. For Shoop we can go as low as like 44. I've even seen like 40 before. And you could probably go up to go down to like 35 if you really put in effort. Or if I guess you got lucky or unlucky or however you want to say it. But overall, 46 is really low, especially if you look the majority of the stats, like not Shoop, right? Vast majority in Skull. So now if we look at the Skull version of the same stat, so once again, I already showed you guys the kills, but I'll show you guys it again. So kills teams here, 465, and then we've got damage dealt teams right here, 18.5k or so. If we do that math, we end up with a ratio of about 39.7, 39.7. This is the second stat that we've now shown to be very likely to be boosted. And there's a certain point where once you get enough of these stats, it's like they're boosted. That's just how it is. If we compare, if you do all the math for the non-Skullfire numbers, I've already shown you all the numbers you need to be able to do that math. What you would do is you would just do, to get void kills from non-Skull, you would take overall void kills minus void kills on Skull, and then do the same thing for the damage kills. And for the damage and everything. So you end up with about 12.1k to 189, which is 64 damage per kill or so. 64 damage per kill, also very, very, very low. But not reasonable, like reasonable for some kits, right? Like obviously I already showed you Shoop, damage per kill, like 64 is actually quite high. But considering most of his stuff is on Skull, I mean, it's just stupid. And if you look at other kits like Karakov, for example, damage per kill, you're expecting much higher numbers, right? So that's the second number that we've showed that he most likely boosted. And now the third number we're going to be taking a look at is going to be kills to game ratio. This is how many kills he gets on average per game. Now, brief reminder for people who haven't really played Smash Heroes 2v2v2, or Smash Heroes at all, I guess. When you play Smash Heroes, every player gets 3 lives, so you can get up to 3 kills per player. So in 2v2v2, there's 4 opponents, so you can at most get 12 kills per game. So the expected is if you're playing with an equal teammate, that you're at most going to get 6-6. Generally, you don't get 6-6, generally like 5-5 or 4-5 or something like that. If you're being carried, you'll at most get like 2, and they'll get 8 or something like that at most. Roughly, and then if it's the opposite, then they'll get 2 and you'll get 8. So at most, we're expecting like a 9 here. 9 here is pushing it. I would say 8 is reasonable for a good player, and 7, 6, whatever if you're not as good or if you're playing with an equal teammate. So at the very most, we should be seeing like 8 or 9 for this guy, right? Especially because he's not a good player, so there's no shot he's carrying. So at most, we should be seeing like 6 for him, okay? TimeDeo just sucks at Smash Hits. I don't know what you want me to say. And if he wants, he can challenge me. I'll play him. You can play anybody you want who's good at the game to show that he's good at the game. If he comes out and he's just a god tier Skull player and he's been carefully crafting his stats over the past I don't know how long to make it seem like he boosted, then sure. But no shot. And I'll bet like $1,000 on that. That's how confident I am in this guy being boosted. It's stupid obvious. Now if we do a kills per game ratio, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this. We're gonna go overall. So I already showed you kills, but I'll show you again. That's his kills for teams. And if we look at games teams right here, 79. Now if you do that math, that's 654 279. So that's about an 8.28. 8.28 overall. Very, very high. Absurdly high for how good he is. Um, this would be hitting like really, really good lucky games back to back to back for every single game, basically. Or at least like 90% of the games, which would be disgustingly lucky. Even if you dodge, there's a lot of people who dodge actually and who have played 2-2-2, and even they don't hit high numbers. They generally push like 6 or 7, including like dodging to play like only dog shit players. Now if we look at a Skull version of the same stats, right? So Skull, when we look at kills teams here, and then we've got games teams. Where's games teams? Right here, 45. So it's 465 to 45. That ratio, if you do the math, 10.33. So 10 and a third. 10 and a third, absolutely dumb. And then one other quick thing I want to add in, if you actually look at his melee kills on, where's melee? Melee kills on Skull. He's actually got 73 kills here, and only one of them is damage. So out of his total 421 void kills on Skull, 72 of them are with melee. So this guy's actually playing melee Skull, which I know I've memed about melee Tin Man, but that's unironically a decent playstyle on Tin Man. But on Skull, melee Skull is, I mean, it's aggressive, I guess. But playing melee Skull and getting these stats is, I mean, this kid is not bad either, especially when you consider how bad his stats are and the other thing. We can also look at his 2v2 KD specifically while I brought it up. But before we do that, I'm gonna look at I'm gonna tell you guys the non-skull numbers for the same thing. So if you do all the math, he gets a non-skull total 2 kills of 189, and the games played is 34, so it's about 5.56. 5.56 what we'd expect it to be across the board, and that's the lowest number of the three. So definitely a boost in skull here. Fun fact for the skull though is that 72 of 421 of his void kills were melee, which is kind of dumb. If we look at his KD on 2v2v2, right? So we look at 2v2v2 KD. So this is going to be kills teams on skull. So that's this number, and I actually don't have this number prepped, so we're going to do the math live. That, and I just know it's going to be something stupid probably. Death teams. Wait. He has no deaths in teams mode? Yeah, guys, he has no deaths in teams modes. Oh, wait, he does. Okay, he does. Sorry. Scared me for a second there. He's got 24. So that divided by 24. He's got a KD of over 19, 19.375 in teams. Kind of stupid. Yeah, that's, I mean, especially if you compare it to his KD in overall, it's not nearly as good, right? Where's his deaths? Deaths. I thought this would be easy to find. What? So that's 587. Oh, okay, so it's like 5.5 or something, right? Let's do the math quickly here. Divided by 107. And I'll throw these into the summary document. So I didn't have these ready before the video because I just thought on the spot. That's the thing with these guys. It's so obviously boosted. You can just think of stuff on the spot and it works out. Anyways, I'll include this at the bottom of the file as well. So if you're reading along, I guess you can already see these numbers. 5.5. Now I'm curious what his win-loss is. His win-loss has to be absolutely stupid, right? Wins teams 39. That divided by what's his losses teams? That's gonna be 6, right? So it's actually not that good. What? So did he boost 38 games or something? Divided by 6. So after doing the math, it actually seems very likely that he boosted about somewhere in between 35 and 38 games, okay? Somewhere between 35 and 38 or 39, maybe even 39. Let's say 35 to 39 of his games are boosted. A good estimate that I put on it was 37 of his games are boosted. Here on it, only talking about his skull in 2v2v2. So it makes sense. So if you take out the boosted games, he actually went like 2-6, which is like 20.25 win loss, which is expected for bad players, I guess. Um, and then, yeah, so we've shown 3 different stats that were boosted. We showed his absurdly over the top, oh, I mean, all these stats were over the top, so I'm not going to bother saying it, but we showed his void to damage kill ratio, which is the amount, how often he gets a void kill for every damage kill. So he gets about 9.5 void kills, or kills by knocking someone into the void, for every 1 damage kill he gets. And then for his damage to kill ratio, also under 40. And then kills per game ratio, it's over 10 on his skull, all absurd. Quickly, I want to compare those to the expected numbers for Skullfire, which are also included in the summary document near the bottom. So specifically for this, for 2v2v2, we'd expect to see between 0 and 1.55 for the void to damage kill ratio. We had 9.57, so he's about 8 too high, or I don't know how many folds that is, but that's like what, 4-fold too high, 4 or 5 times higher than expected, than like the highest possible number that'd be reasonable. For damage per kill ratio, the lowest we'd expect is 65 or so, from the data, and he's got under 40. Once again, very clearly boosted. And 2v2v2 kills per game is 3.2 to 6.4. He has 10.33, which is way above the upper cap here. So 6.4 is the highest we'd expect to see for 2v2v2. And he's got 10, which is, I mean, it's like that. So I think we can restate our 2 statements about him boosting. So he boosted his Skullfire using ult by playing 2v2v2. And we can also assume that his teammate was another ult, so just him with 5 ults. It wasn't even him and a friend. And we can assume that he boosted at least half of his overall account kills, as shown. If you estimate that he boosted like 37 games, as I said, is my best estimate possible, times 12, that's 444. 444 is more than half. So he boosted at least half his kills just in those 2v2 v2 Skullfire stats alone. I think it's very clear that I've he's boosted. Anyways, I'd like to see you guys' opinions on this. Obviously, he's a well-known player. I expect you guys have strong opinions about this. It's more fun you guys have strong opinions as this. As always, brief suggestion. Don't spend more time commenting on my video than I spent making the video. Some guys were doing that after my most recent video a couple days ago on Tuesday, the Dom and Vibru one. This guy actually spent more time stalking the comment section and commenting on my video than I spent making it, which is just really weird. Especially because he makes fun of how long it took me to make the video and how long the video was. Just, I don't know, dude's a freak. But as always, go ahead down in the description, leave comments. I want to know, this is what I want to know. This is the quiz. Okay. 1, do you think you boosted? 2, if you boosted, should you be? What's the punishment for it? If you should be punished. And 3, do you think this was special because he's a YouTuber? Do you think that YouTubers should maintain their YouTube rank if they've been shown to have boosted, or proven to have boosted? I think it's disgusting, especially because he's got YouTube rank, and this guy was recently promoted as a Skyblock YouTuber, featured by Hypixel as one of their events on Skyblock. It's not just any Hypixel YouTuber, it's a featured Hypixel YouTuber that was put like front page center, and he's one of the biggest Hypixel YouTubers of all time, as far as I'm aware. And he's a proven booster and known booster on top of that. Also former guild owner. I don't know if, yeah, he's no longer the guild owner. He's in a private guild, his own little like jerk off guild now, with him and his ults. But he's former owner of the Illumination, I think, which is a known booster guild, which is even more ironic. Anyways, that's all I've got for you guys this episode. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. And that's where the video would have ended. But we're not quite done, because after finishing that video, I wasn't exactly satisfied. And I thought to myself, if only there was a way I could message him. And then I realized I have a friend him on Discord from like 2018, 2019. So I sent him a DM on Discord. And that's what you're looking at right now. This is the official TimeDeo linked Discord. I'll show you guys if I grab his ID here and then I remove Discord. I can go into Discord lookup, discord.id. I can paste it in, look it up, go through the stupid CAPTCHA. There you go. This is Deo, official TimeDeo linked Deo account. Okay, this is official TimeDeo here. And yes, this is a conversation we had. This is a conversation with real Deo, real confirmed Deo. Uh, so I say, hey man, is it possible you may have boosted some of your Smashers AP? And he actually responds to me quite quick for it being almost 3 up. He says, yeah, pretty sure I boosted some AP a couple years ago. And I was like, all right, thanks, man. And I thought the conversation was going to end there. I was happy with that. But then we kept going. He was curious where I found out that he boosted. He was like, were you checking my stats randomly or there's some bot? I said, there's a bot. He said, I'll probably flag you a few times. I was like, yeah, I got flagged already. Said, yeah, I'm sure my arena brawl stats would be the same thing. Used to boost AP with a few others when I was in Foundation. Hey, if anybody says Foundation's not a booster guild, you're a clown, alright? Foundation, literally top 3, like, well-known booster guilds. And I said, your arena stats aren't so bad. He said, I'll take that as a good thing. Now, I'll show you guys his arena stats. His arena stats actually aren't that bad. Arena stats very reasonable. These are reasonable stats. Nowhere near boosted as much as like Dante Wright or anything like that. Speaking of Dante Wright, bit of a spoiler, I might make a video on him soon. Because he's been not banned for a very long time. I might do an entire video dedicated to Arena Brawl non-boosting, but we'll see. Uh, Anyways, that's the real end of the story there, for now, at the very least. Because he may have boosted Arena Brawl. He admitted to boosting a few games. But yeah, shout out to TimeDeo for being super cool about this. I didn't think he's gonna be super cool like this, considering how mad he was when people were calling him out for boosting the tourney. Yeah, that's the end of the story. Now I really got nothing left for you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.